Hey guys. So, yeah, we're on part 3 of the new moon series. So we've got Ursa Major, the Great Bear, out of the way. We've got Draconis, the dragon. And now our focus is on Leo, the lion. So all 3 of these parts are creating this form of trinitization of alchemy that is creating something in our own lives. Okay, so Ursa Major was providing the clarity and the discernment on what our true north is. The Draconis, or the dragon, was coming through with the seed on the journey and the seed of creation. Now that we're focusing on the lion, when I came into this reading, the focus was on lion, but now the word coming through has been the lioness. Okay, so we have this feminine principality that's showing up with Ursa Major and the Great Bear as the Great Mother. This masculine frequency that's coming through in regards to the dragon. Okay, so we have this feminine and masculine balance of the Great Bear meeting with the dragon in that balance. And now lion is coming through with lioness. And it really is coming through with a softening energy. And it very much so ties into, I had someone contact me right before this reading, which synchronizes into this whole, the reclamation of our aspects and the reclamation of our own pathway. And so it's interesting. So I want to tune in now to the new moon in its ascended form and tune into Leo and the lioness and what the essence of ascended Leo in its constellation wants to provide for as the energetic patterning on this new moon. So what is the sequence? What say you, ascended Leo and ascended lioness, in the essence of you? And there is a focus on Sirius B here too, and the Sirius sun. So the Sirius star has a sun, and there's a focus on that alignment that's coming through as well. So I already sense that coming through because I can see the energy coming through of Sirius B. And so let's go ahead and start to pull. We've got Radiant Rider Weight. So let's focus on the lioness first. Thank you, but I'm doing a reading right now. So, what say you, Leo Lioness? I feel like I need another deck for this. Okay, we're gonna go into Light Seers, because the Radiant, I just started doing Radiant Rider Weight, always. These 2 cards popped out right when I opened up the deck, which is coming back into our golden room, back with the dragons. So I want to keep these here, because it seems like this is a part of the reading, is it wants us to focus on the seed of our creation from the dragons, but it seems like the lioness is bringing in a different perspective. So the lioness, what do you want us to focus on, and what the Leo energy, the lioness energy, is bringing through? What is the lioness bringing through in its essence for this new moon in Leo in its ascended form? Into its ascended form. So I just heard, Your Honor. I heard a judgment day occurring. So as a result, then it's going to be about a where we are judging our lion essence. Where are we judging our pride? Where are we judging our tribe? Where are we judging ourselves? And where are we judging our truth? Where are we judging our inspiration? So there's a whole focus on judgment right now with that. And it's interesting because I'm hearing monopolizing, right? Monopolizing. And that's a part of the sacred architecture that's kind of coming back online. But there's something in regards to this new moon. And I'm hearing Leonid meteor shower. So I'm going to have to look that up. This is the second time I've heard the Leonid meteor shower. So, lioness, what say you? Leo, ascended Leo, what say you? Compassion and courage under fire. This is a reclamation of a level of courage in who we are in our fiery essence, but how we are also reviewing the essence of creation itself. It feels like there's a reformation right now collectively over creation and creative energy. This ties very much so into the womb. Okay, it ties very much so into the womb space, but it's also about providing a new sense of safety and stability in our own creations. It feels like another form of support in creative energies and creative endeavors, which is interesting because rather than the, Ursa Major was providing the clarity. The dragon was providing the seed and providing a guardianship. And this feels like a, thank you. This feels like the lioness is providing another structure or form of architecture in regards to what our heart song is in our heart creation. This is coming back into the lioness heart, the feminine heart, and the essence of that. I mean, we don't have to play into polarity and we can play non-binary here and just go into the essence of the heart and what that is. This is about a reclamation of our lioness heart, however you want to view it, and a reclamation of the watery essence of lions. So while we always see Leo as a fire sign, it's interesting because Leos are actually extremely emotional. They're very watery. And so this is almost bringing in the watery essence of the lioness. This is coming into, that's why the lioness wants to come through, because I feel like the lion is very much so, if we look at the masculine lion, this is now looking at the feminine lion, and the feminine lion of being restful, nurturing, and very emotional too. And so I feel like this is a heart activation and a heart center activation and a focus on the heart portal. Okay, so as the new moon opens up, focus on your heart portal, because your heart is a gateway. So this is about securing your heart gateway, and this is going to be about a restructuring of the heart space, an expansion of the heart space, and a new flow with the heart. So it's interesting because the way that Ursa Major was bringing in this creativity, this outside expression of what our true north is, the dragons and the draconids were bringing through this seed. And the seed was very much so, when we have a cosmic seed, it goes into our cosmic womb. This is about the heart expression and how the heart is working in conjunction with this seed to project out this new reality and this new world that is being anchored through Sirius and through Leo, ascended Leo. There's something about a vortex too that's opening up within the heart space, and it's going to be about our choice to stay focused on the heart, in the heart, with the heart, and that heart vortex. No, you guys gotta, don't be 50-50. If you're gonna pop, you're gonna pop. And it's about a transmission of the heart song into our pathway. So while the seed of the creation ties with dragon, this is very much so the resonance of the heart harmonics that are coming and it's interesting because even if you see how she's blasting out the heart, I almost see this like she's blasting out these blocks, right? It's almost like all of these cups were blocks in the heart, and she's blasting them away, and she's blasting out the old pathways and the old patterning through her heart space. And what this is going to open up is a fresh form of creation, or a new form of essence of heart that is coming through. This is almost coming through as diamond heart for me, the multidimensional heart. And the diamond heart is very much so connected to Lyra. So when I was working with Lyra a lot in the Lyrans, this was coming back into the diamond heart complex. And so there might be a focus on amplification of the multidimensional heart and how that fuels into multidimensional creations. Because this to me now, so one level is blasting out these blocks to activate and to cleanse these cups. And we could see all these cups as forms of multidimensional creation in the diamond heart. And as we expand those out, we get new cups and bring them in to this central cup, into the multidimensional heart, where we now begin to navigate our journey with the diamond heart, or the multidimensional heart. The multidimensional heart is one point of access into our light body that begins to, that begins to now create what our multidimensional expression is through the multiverse, through the heart space. And so a part of this is the heart song amplifying through the body, through the field, activates the rainbow or the diamond light body, and we have so many different light body phases. So this is now coming into the multidimensional heart, activating our crystalline being, our crystalline light body, our plasma light body, our rainbow light body. It's a merger of all those light bodies into our multidimensional creation and our multidimensional selves, and how we now express that self. So with the Emperor, I'm hearing to kingdom come. This is about sitting firm in your heart space. Interesting. I'm almost seeing this as the masculine womb right now, right? This is recognizing that you are now the creator of your own reality. Rather than being the game, you are the game. And now that you recognize that you are the game, through this heart-centered experience, now notice how we shifted there. So now that we wake up to the fact that of the nature of reality, but we now have this new heart-centered experience, how do we experience this through the heart center? This is going to be about us finding balance on earth through our own creations and through our new architecture, through our new sacred presence and our new sacred being. This, to me, it's interesting how the Lioness is kind of bringing forward more of this multi-dimensional approach, right? So it's because Ursa Major was bringing up this celestial kind of cosmic, where do you want to go, right? Your true north, the navigation point in the skies. The dragons were bringing in this grounded earth, practical, seated creation. And now the Lioness is bringing very much so this multi-dimensional culture, or the bridge point of interdimensionality, higher dimensional realities, and how they all merge and blend into this single form. So this is very much so an energy of pulling everything in to our being and coming into our multidimensionality. So it's interesting because it's almost like the stars meet the ground and then bring them into this now moment of how that multidimensional expression is created. And if we see the coins, we see that this is almost rising above the wobble of because this is not stable in the collective. All these wheels and how they're turning, right? It's almost like a little bit of finding ways to stabilize through the collective balance. But this is also too coming forward very much so as the wheel turning in our favor. We could literally take this as the wheel, as a whole new dawn arising and a whole new dawn approaching. Once again, Two of Pentacles. This is coming back into a sense of balance in our multidimensional creation, in our multidimensional expression. But it's also now about harnessing a new level of finding balance through our new creations, and as they show up in the form, through the form. And I even noticed that now I'm going more quantum in the discussion of this. So there is something about quantum abilities, quantum connections, quantum experience, and sacred technology that's unlocking through the Lioness, which is very much so connected to it's the Syrian B portal as well, and the connection to Syrian sun that's activating more of our quantum presence and our quantum knowing. Downloads and insight. This is about now coming into the recognition of taking all of this and really fanning the flames of the mind and the records of persecution in order to fully dissolve and resolve that within our own lives. So this is about an expansion of consciousness. So while, interesting, because now it's getting so etheric and esoteric. It's like it almost kicked up a few levels into more of the multidimensional expression, more crystalline, more focused like that as it's coming about. So it's almost like we're taking this, if we saw how this whole 3-part series went, right? It started out with the Ursa Major going more into old mythology, right? Old mythology and the discussion I talked a little bit, I don't want to go into the old mythology, but it was a little bit more mythological. Dragons brought in a little bit more grounded approach into the form, and then we've just completely expanded out into the ethers from this message. And I feel like that is what the wave of this is it's very much so all 3 of these are working together to transition us. Ursa Major is activating and remembering the old pathway within us and the fact that we have choice into a new direction, what our true north is. The dragons are bringing in this seed and clearing the pathway for this new direction and into this new path. And now we are expanding the consciousness into those quantum realms and quantum trajectories in order to expand further our insight and to activate higher potentiality in the pathway to walk that as well. So this is now getting more etheric and esoteric in the knowledge. It's almost like the lioness is coming through and going, you are more and beyond that which of the scope that you choose to consciously perceive here and now. But when you let go, the perception shifts and changes, and we're going more esoteric, more quantum in our approach, more expanded, more etheric. And I feel like a part of that is because that's what the new flow and the new direction is. It is what and how we navigate as the multidimensional compass. Okay, so then the multidimensional compass is recognizing that the reality is constantly shifting, moving, and changing. And in that dynamic, how do we lock into a perspective that brings in that pathway for ourselves to walk? But then also is how do we navigate through the different dimensions as we're having this multidimensional expression? Tying this all in, it's very much so about bringing in this etheric wisdom and bringing it down and through into something that is grounded and practical. This is almost like taking the moon and putting it in your purse. Not from a sense of holding, but it's like we are now bringing in the universe within the form, within the heart space, and then expressing the universe through the heart. So the lioness is very much so coming through with a very powerful energy of, let's take everything outside of us. Let's bring it all within into the form. Let's amplify it through the form and walk as the universe again. This is an invitation saying the lioness is coming through saying you are the lion. You are the universe. You are the Lyran, right? You are the founder, right? You are the Elohim. You are the creator, right? This is the gift of you are the creator. Now what are you going to create? This is coming back to, we've got the tools, right? I believe it was Ursa Major that was bringing forward, use your tools to create, right? And this is now the lioness is coming through saying, you are the tool, you are the creation, you are the universe. Now it's time to go and to express that to the world, that I am the universe, hear me roar, right? So it's now coming back to this emperor energy, this is knowing your worth, knowing your value, sitting firmly in who you are as the royal lion, okay, as the royal lion or royal lioness, and then speaking that into creation and coming form into that. But it's about expanding into that. We have to bring in the energies from the lioness and from Sirius B and from Sirius Sun to bring this in. So this is very much so about opening up to the energetics that are opening up through the new moon and allowing this gate sequence to come through and to fully anchor, because that's how we nurture our harvest. A part of nurturing the harvest here and nurturing the seed is allowing these celestial energies in to work with us. Remember we were talking about I was talking about judgment earlier in this. This is about releasing the old parts of self. And this is also, there's two parts to this. There is the releasing the old and allowing in your essence through the heart. So this is almost like death of the old and in with the new in the flow of the energetics. Right now, I see this very much so as a release the heart. Release the ghosts of the past, right? Find your freedom. Let that go in which no longer serves the present moment. So as we bring things in, past, present, future, into now, this is about let going of your decayed self. Freeing the feminine. Freeing the feminine. Freeing the feminine. Freeing the feminine. And the underlying theme is, I love this right here, is the Hierophant. Look at the joy in this gateway that's opened in this bridge. Like, it's like, yes, we've arrived, right? This is recognizing that there's a higher order at play now, right? This is going quantum in our recognition, stepping away from the form and stepping away from the temporal, taking a moment to go back and go, let's go quantum in this approach. What is the higher order? And I'm actually hearing higher love. Bring me a higher love. And it's like, let's bring it on in, folks. Let's bring it on in. Let's bring it on in. This is about the expression of symbols and codes too. Like if you see all these codes that are coming out of his mind, this is about literally getting lost in the ethers almost, in these downloads, and allowing them to be the nurturing essence of, I'm almost seeing them as a water of the seed that Draconis is bringing through. I'm hearing supermarket sweep. So I'm also getting this as taking a moment to find your joy on the new moon. I feel like your joy is going to activate a superpower within you, and noting that your joy is a superpower. Okay, so your emotional resilience in laughter and in play is really much so going to bring forward a level of activation of the multidimensional heart and what the multidimensional heart complex means. Okay, so I kind of have to stop there right now because this reading is very etheric, and I know I'm getting judgy because I'm like, it isn't grounded and practical. I like grounded and practical for some of these readings, but this one is very much so. I feel like it's getting lost in the archives to find a new layer and essence of self to come forward and through. The cards are almost, to me, like I almost have to just flow with the channel of the energetics that's coming forward from the Lioness and from the Leo constellation, right? And it's changing your mind to find the heart, right? And it's very much so focused on the heart, but the multidimensional expression of the heart, and as ourselves, as universal consciousness here and now. Even the energies I'm seeing the Merkaba, I'm seeing the crystal star, I'm seeing these very cosmic galactic frequencies, light pinks, whites, blues, golds, yellows, and it's very much so like a architectural weaving of the 7 rays, and solar logos, and how solar logos expresses the ray groups in through the form and the discovery of new ray groups. So, and this is the dog days of summer, this ties back into Ursa Major, I believe, and how the ray groups activate through the solar logos. And so this is gonna be, I feel like, a discovery of rays, new completions, new cycles coming to an end, but very much so in regards to our multidimensional DNA and our multidimensional constructs. We look at this, look, it's like the hands are meeting to activate the rays and to fill up the golden cups, right? So this very much so is a union of these 3 energies. So we got 2 hands here, but it's very much so thinking of the masculine and the feminine principality and the solar logos meeting to activate these solar ray groups and to replenish and to fill up our cups in the solar rays, right? And in these different ray groups to activate the rainbow, and a part of that rainbow is our dynamic multi-dimensional expression as the unified essence of all the ray groups. So this is very much so coming into a unity focus or a union focus, and I'm excited to see this at the peak of this pathway in the bookend markers of these Aquarian, the bookend markers of the Aquarius full moon. Is it feels like this is kind of like the peak of this gateway and what it brings forward and provides for ourselves in a form of coming back into the rainbow child. It now feels like it's like, here we go, here's all of this really esoteric stuff, but we're bringing it all into the rainbow essence of the divine child. And then how do we create as the divine child, and how the divine child wants to show up in its multidimensional expression. This is really coming into a new level of purity, and how the purity shows up through the form, and how we create in this purified essence to make sure that we are reclaiming more of that joy and the sovereign pathways that are unified in joy, in love, and in life, and in good health, and in wellness, because it is possible. And so a part of this is going to be, how do we balance through the energetics and step forward into a pathway that is filled with joy, especially if we still are living in a defeatist mentality and are still living in this belief that we live in black and white and we live in duality, right? It's like there's this pathway opening of a oneness perspective that all coexists with the one and we walk as the one, but we can be joyous in that expression. Now granted, we have our moments of emotional clearing, we have our moments of feeling, we have our moments of going through different phases of our expression, but now it's going, okay, it is possible to have that golden pathway or that rainbow pathway where we align all shades and aspects into one form, and we can live and weave as the multidimensional expression. So since that gateway opens up and we have the choice of the diamond multidimensionality and the diamond coding of the heart and the diamond heart solar retrieval coming through as the multidimensional soul or the multidimensional universal expression of you, is it possible to walk? And that's the question point. Is it possible to walk as the multidimensional expression? I will say this, it very much so is. I believe that to be true. I don't believe it to be false. But a part of that is we have to welcome in that experience with a healthy curiosity to go, okay, how do I navigate with all these tools and all these experiences that I've built up in my life path right now? How do I come back into the essence of the integrated form of all of this and then walk in my creation as the integrated multidimensional me? The multidimensional you doesn't have to be just super cosmic galactic guardian. There's so many shades and phases of you in the multidimensional expression and in the multidimensional scope that want to come through, right? So then you as this new universal order, free of the hierarchical reign and no better than, less than, but very much so a oneness perspective, is how do I walk as the universal self, right? The cosmic self, the galactic self, the elemental self, the Gaian self, the merger of all these selves into the form, okay? And then create from that space in every now moment. It is possible. And while it might seem like it's tricky to do, or there might be some fear in regards to it because it's so new, I can say this, it is possible, but it requires us making sure that it's making sure to review that are the choices assisting in a waxing or waning in self. So when we are walking on our path, are we continually expanding, or where does the choice bring in a level of collapse, right? So a part of this is when we are making the choice on how to navigate through our creations now too, is to make sure that the choices that the action steps, the choices that we are making are facilitating and propagating expansion of self, expansion of consciousness, and expansion of other lives versus a contracting. And you'll be able to feel it if you can tune in. You could go and tune into the pathway or the choice that you're about to make. Does it feel expressive or does it feel constraining, right? And this is how we begin to find out the difference between inorganic and organic, right? And a lot of people have been like, what do you mean by inorganic and organic? Well, those realities that we would call our organic are very expansive and very expressive. Now, to fully anchor them and walk them in every now moment requires a great level of balance and a great level of shifting into finding what brings expressive points in every now moment of our journey. We do have moments of collapse, okay? We do have moments where we have to go within, but what we want to do is making sure that we are facilitating the timelines that are bringing open, healthy curiosity, joy, and expression in all that we do for the level of sustainability, okay? And it's about making sure that we're making that choice and shifting with that choice, because as our creations begin to wane, and as soon as we start to, if we feel like we're unfulfilled or bored with our creations, then we can easily start to make those choices in what do we create in every now moment that fuels expansion, right? Because the thing is if we stay with that creation and cycle long enough, we can start to feel it and that which once was very expansive and expressive for self starts to feel constricting. Well, it's because you've maxed out in that room and it's time to upgrade into a new room. And so if you feel like you hit a cap or a wall where you can't express anymore, then it's time to completely dissolve that room and to step into a new room so a part of the progression cycle of this expansion is that you expand to a point and then you recognize that you might feel limited in your creation. That's when we dissolve the creation, we step into a new room, and we just keep expanding and expanding and expanding. And it's kind of just an interesting way of navigating the multidimensionality, and as a result, we have to throw a lot of things away to invite in new and to expand into a new room, into a new vibrational bandwidth, into a new higher harmonic. And so it takes that navigation point, and it feels like that's what the Lioness is providing for us, is a reclamation of the coding within our DNA to be able to remember what it is to navigate multidimensional expression on multidimensional Earth, and what it is to live in a higher harmonic multidimensionality here on Earth. Very much so diamond coded in the way that it's coming through. So look forward for the diamond codes, and look forward for what the Lioness and what Sirius B and the Syrian Sun is providing for us in DNA coding. That is going to help to nurture that creation so we have sustainable creations, because our creations now need to begin to no longer collapse under the weight of the vibration that Gaia is holding. So the thing is that if Gaia, let's say that your creation is dialed into 96.3 hertz, okay? As soon as Gaia hits 96.4 or 96.5 hertz, that creation will be very hard to sustain in the higher harmonics. So a part of our multidimensionality, or what we call the 12th dimensional template, is that as Gaia is activating higher and higher levels of light, our creative endeavors need to consistently purify and expand with Gaia's expansion. And so our creation, our realities need to be able to expand with Gaia, and if they don't, they will hit a cap and the reality will collapse. So then we can sustain the higher harmonics that Gaia is producing through her crystalline core and through her crystalline vision. And so if we align to Gaia's crystalline vision in connection with the great central sun and in the harmonics of that resonance of shifting, we're going to allow our own creations and our realities to evolve with Gaia and with the universe rather than hitting a cap. The reason why a lot of things are collapsing on planet Earth is because they were not made with multidimensional consciousness in mind. They were built on 3D foundations and 3D realities. And so once we start to expand beyond those 3D limitations, or the third dimensional levels of consciousness, what happens is those realities begin to collapse. So then for us, it's making sure that our relations, our relationships, our containers, our creations, our pathways are expandable in the navigation point. It's seeding a multi-dimensional creation so it can evolve and expand as Gaia and evolves and expands. That's how we create sustainable realities, plain and simple. I know that was very heady and esoteric and etheric, and I apologize if it doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but when we get to this level of the archival record and our crystalline technology and how we speak it, it's very much so higher self and etheric noted, but it is light encoded to such a point that you will be able to get it and be able to ground it in to discuss how that works for yourself. So connect to your crystalline DNA for that, and go within, and if you need assistance with this, you can please feel free to reach out, foundersoflight@gmail.com, and I'd greatly love to help some people in being able to access what their DNA coding is and how to speak to their DNA more. All right, so I love you guys. Much love and respect to everyone out there. We are done with the 3-part series of the new moon. It looks like it's going to go very quantum, which is fun. So expand, and have fun in your multidimensionality, because it can be fun getting into those worlds of higher realities and shifting around and maneuvering. So have fun with it. It feels very sacred, very divine, and very joyous in the celebration of our multidimensional selves. All right. So I will see you guys soon. Ciao.